Hi there and welcome to an extra video, and this time we're going to talk about my student time and career. So yeah, I hope you enjoy it, and I'm absolutely not don't want to hang out as the expert, despite I've been studying organizational psychology, so I probably know a lot about work, but it's more as well as a sharing of experience video, and who knows, you can find or get some tips, but it's not like the main purpose. And I definitely learn a lot from other people as well, and in the comments you can state a lot about your own opinion, or if you have any tips for me as well. So I'm curious to hear from you. Did actually 2 times a Q&A about this extra video, and it's still going on Instagram or my Insta stories, but yeah, I just was already I already got some good questions, so I picked some of the questions, and yeah, if there are interesting questions in the comments or afterwards, then I will discuss them later. But I really like this sharing of experience kind of videos, and I always love to hear about people so I also watch videos, these kind of videos of other people as well, often. Really love to. And yeah, and especially during these times, I love coming back a lot of times with some extra videos as well, and heard a lot of things about this period of time. A lot of people are actually they have to stay home or can't work. They use this time as well for a lot of a reconciliation, or thinking about their purpose or their life, or how they want to create their lives with or without work. So yeah, especially now, I think these kind of videos are very useful, and I absolutely love YouTube and Instagram as a platform. So many people are connected, and especially in these times when you actually have a lot of time to contemplate and to think as well, or to just enjoy with your families. Yeah, nice videos to watch. So yeah, maybe I can just start. Maybe we'll put some questions in between, but yeah, how I started. Maybe in high school I did VWO, which is to prepare students for university. So I got I went to the top 5 or 10%, I think it's even 5%, students that went to VWO, or going to VWO in general in the Netherlands. So yeah, I did well intellectually at school, so at elementary school, so that's why I could do VWO immediately at 11 or 12 years old. And yeah, they found out quite early during elementary school, already when I was 5, I think. And then when we started to have reading and spelling at 6 or 7 years old, and they found out that I was actually a step ahead, so I could skip classes, could skip the Dutch 4th class. But I'm always thankful for my mom, because my mother, she also thought about your social development and your age development, so she actually just wanted to keep me with my friends in my 3rd class. So I didn't skip eventually, but I got a lot of extra work, and yeah, that's something I'm very thankful for my elementary school, that they really saw that very early on, and that they supported it. It's very important for the so-called gifted children. I could make like a separate video about that as well. I might do that to not be too long, but yeah, so I was a bit ahead and I always got extras. If my class would do the regular stuff, then I would get some extra work or different work, or I could do reading in other classes. And also with maths, I got extra work, so they always supported that very well. And yeah, so then for Dutch people, I got like 545 points for my SETO, so I could do VWO, and I chose to do gymnasium, which is like VWO is gymnasium or atheneum. And gymnasium is that you have as well the classical culture and languages called or Latin and ancient Greek. Yeah, so yeah, in high school, yeah, I really like to like I really felt it was challenging, and I really liked gymnasium. But yeah, I started to become a teenager as well, so yeah, I was very social, I had a lot of friends, and yeah, I don't think it's something bad. I think it's part of the development, and also good mentorship is very important. But the thing is that you are like learned to be responsible for yourself and take yourself, you know, that you will learn how to learn by yourself and be responsible for yourself. That's also part of VWO, I must say. Yeah, but at some time I really liked Asian Greek, but then I started to dislike Latin, or I don't know why, like I really regret that. But I was a teenager, so in the third year I switched to Atheneum, which is the same level of education. It's just still the 5% top, but it's without Asian Greek and Latin. So I had it for 3 years, and then I skipped to Atheneum. And to be short, my favorite subjects were philosophy, French, language and literature. I also took Spanish, but was not the favorite, I guess. I liked Asian Greek, like the first 3 years, and English I liked, and Dutch, and economy or economics as well. Yeah, and like in the early high school years, I really loved the music class as well, because we had it on Friday, and then we, like the last hour or half an hour, we would sing with the whole class. But I didn't take it in my study package like later on in high school. And then it was time for university, and then yeah, I didn't know what to choose actually. Like a lot of Dutch students actually choose to go abroad for a couple of years, for 2 years or a year, and then or gap year, and then they come back and hopefully choose to study what they like decided for. And I was a bit in doubt, like law school, because I was very curious about studies, or psychology. And then I took law school, but yeah, I was not very used to like studying for a long time. Like high school went quite easy for me, so I didn't study like that much. And law school is obviously, like I could see that from my fellow student mates, that they were really year after lecture that they went to the library to study until 5 or 6, quite structured. And yeah, that was not really something that I was used to from high school. But I very much thought it was interesting, but eventually I had to make a switch, because it was like the first year that the Dutch government decided that you had to have like 45 student points, and I maybe had like 38. Yeah, so I couldn't skip it, or I had to switch, and I didn't want to wait for a year, so I went to do psychology, which was my other option actually. I very much liked text law, and that's actually one that a lot of people are struggling with, or eventually not like ending law school with, because they have to stop studies because they couldn't get the right grades for text law. So yeah, and my mother was working with text, so she was super proud of me. Still am, but yeah. So I went to do psychology, and yeah, that's eventually what I was doing, or when doing. Yeah, I just took my jacket off. But yeah, so it's like the regular 3-year bachelor psychology, and then last 1 year a master year. However, in the Netherlands, Dutch students are, and that's also quite well known, maybe it has changed in these last 4 or 5 years, but when I was studying, and then before that, and I think that's why the government decided to have a rule like that, is yeah, Dutch students usually take a bit longer with their studies, not because it's difficult, but because yeah, and at least when I was studying, it was very like almost normal that a lot of people, like at least around me, were constantly busy with committees and extracurricular activities, volunteering, working on their resume. So yeah, and that was exactly what I was doing as well. And on the other hand, I think like, yeah, when you're young or in your 20s, like it's yeah, of course, like I wouldn't recommend like doing like 10 years, but some older generations have been doing that in the Netherlands. But yeah, I think if it turns out to be like that, you also shouldn't feel sorry for it or anything. Yeah, especially if you're doing a lot of extracurricular activities, and do a lot of with like self-development next to it as well. I mean, yeah. So yeah, how was my student time? My student time was, I think that was someone's question, like specifically, but so how was my student time? My student time was yeah, I took 7 years for it. Like I did a bit longer with my bachelor of psychology, but my master's I did finished in 1 year, as was my thesis. And but yeah, I started the psychology program in university after philio, and then I did 1 year of organizational psychology. So you have like this broad 3 years bachelor program of psychology, and then after you choose like specific or more specialized master. So I did the industrial and organizational psychology. A bit more about that later on. But yeah, my student time was yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was also very social, and as well, next to of course like the interesting subjects that I had, psychology really fit me well, and I also got, especially for my bachelor, I got very good grades. I did a minor in public administration and politics, and I also had some extra subjects that I was following. There was like a mix of economics, business, and psychology on the business and economic faculty. For example, I did like a subject called about corporate governance and like dynamics between board members and stakeholders. Very interesting. And as I said before, I did a lot of communities, and I also did volunteering. I have been doing language coaching for immigrants, and also been reading stories for visual disabled children in Hagen, and every week, and also been organizing events for UNICEF, which was actually a committee which I've been doing with girls of the UNICEF, Student UNICEF Association. Yeah, which was very interesting because we also had these general meetings and with the board and with other people, so it was like a fun mix of like doing things, learning how to like reorganize things, events, and all the stuff that goes behind it. It's very useful and very good experience, like also for later life. As well as that, it was like, yeah, also fun and social to hang out with people and every week and have dinner with my committee before we had like our committee meetings, and yeah, it was very fun. And we also, especially with the UNICEF committee that I did, was very nice to do as a student as well, because yeah, you give also a lot of back, like raising money that we did, so we combined like all kind of things together, which was very interesting. Also, I've been doing a lot more committees. I was quite busy. I also did, I was a treasurer once, which was, yeah, really something that I liked. I either liked, I think, to be chairman, but I also did acquisition actually, like to search for sponsorships. But especially like the treasurer thing was something that I really liked doing. And I was also a member of a sorority and fraternity as well, which was also very fun. And yeah. So yeah, to sum it up, like student time in the Netherlands back then for me was like really good combination of like yeah, working on my ambitions, like to graduate and to develop myself and to become specialized in a subject, as well as it was super fun with good memories and like social events as well as committees, and yeah, it's really fun as well. So some of the questions: what is student life like in the Netherlands? So actually what I summed up, like I think it's still like that. Like that's probably also the reason why Dutch students take a bit longer because they combine all these things, and I actually think it's like as long as it's not taking that much longer, you shouldn't feel bad about it, because like it's also part of like your early 20s, and like after like from 18 to something, like it's part of the development as well. So yeah, if you can do committees like most of the Dutch students and have a very like social time with a sorority or stuff, I think that's like both very important. So yeah, best student memory. I really have a lot of memories. Yeah, the video would be too long, but I have really good memories with friends, and especially in Groningen, they always say like, and it's also the best student city, I must say, because everyone is like, almost everyone is eventually going after graduation, going to Amsterdam. Well, it used to be so cliche, but everyone would be doing that to work and live. And yeah, so like I was often in Amsterdam, but to visit friends, but I was not I don't regret of choosing Groningen of the Dutch student cities. Like, of course you have Leiden, which is also good. My cousin has been is graduated there. Rotterdam you have as well. But yeah, I must say Groningen is the best city. There was a question I think before someone. But yeah, especially in Groningen, like you like not maybe in like the last years, but like the first couple of years, and like people just go out around 12 maybe, so you meet up with your friends that you're going to the city with, and then you drink a bit, and then you leave like the house around 12 or half past 12. So don't think that's like too late, but in Groningen it works like that. And then students go back at home, or like the pubs or the clubs are open until 6:30 or 6. So yeah, that's a bit like, yeah, general idea of student life in Groningen concerning like that part. But yeah, one favorite, it's just hard for me to choose. It was really, really fun a lot of times. No, I think I can't choose, like there are too many. But one of the good memories is I had a friend like organized like this whole like student dinner, what students usually quite often do in the Netherlands. Yeah, so I got invited for that, and it was super fun. And in Groningen it's also a thing, like to dress up, like not in a chic or formal way, but to dress up as I don't know how to call it, I will put it down here, but like you dress up as something, like that's like part of student life as well. Like you're not living in a perfect apartment or anything. Like Dutch students just want to experience for once. Like yeah, like in Groningen sometimes the students' houses were like so like, yeah, actually you should see it like to judge, but yeah, so I mean you can have like a clean apartment after graduation, like it's part of student life in the Netherlands. Oh, but I have also another memory, like with one of my besties, but she was from Amsterdam and she moved back to Amsterdam, like most of my student friends. But yeah, I stayed in contact. Obviously, I visited Amsterdam after like super often to be with, just go to parties with her there. And yeah, it was like this law school prom, and we were both doing law school back then, and yeah, so we went there. But yeah, I can't go too much in detail, but it was like so fun. Like it was one of the, yeah, I must say like really one of the best memories. It was really fun. Like next day I had lecture, and I thought, oh, that's at 2 or 3 o'clock, so I should make that, but a lot of people were not even there, or like, yeah, I don't know. It was I went there, but it was yeah, I had tough night before, and like we paid like a certain amount, and then the drinks would be for free as well, and she had like this huge champagne bottle beforehand that we drank like before we went, like with 4 other girls still. But yeah, it was really fun. And also part of my student time was that I was in Amsterdam quite often. Like my friend went to sorority and fraternity there, so she had a lot of fun parties, and also other friends still went actually back that I could visit there anytime, so I was there quite often. And yeah, actually like the way I studied was that I was like in general you got maybe 2 months or 3 months for before every exam. It's called like semester, like a term. And yeah, so the first 2 months then I would usually like went almost every time to Amsterdam, so I was there all the time. Or I went traveling with friends, like I went to Cannes, Saint-Tropez, also London, and yeah, so we traveled also a lot. And then the last 3 weeks, but I went to every lecture at least, but I didn't read like in between. I went to every lecture, so it was my way of learning, and I got good grades, so fine. And then 3 weeks beforehand, then I would, just like anybody else or people studying the same way as me, then we would look ourselves up and would study, and then get a good grade at 8 or something, or 7, and then it went like that all the time. And there were more students like me, and then we had like at some point of time we had like a coaching subject. We were learning everything about coaching ourselves, but at the same time, I mean, like our professor or lecturer also said like you actually can also take this opportunity of this subject or this time like to be coached yourself as well, because I'm a coach. And there was someone saying like, I feel always so guilty that I'm not like studying every time all the time. And yeah, every term I could also feel like that back then. But yeah, the thing is actually, like then she said like, well, do you have good grades or is it working for you? And then the students, and including myself, said, yeah, actually it works. So what's the point of like worrying about it then? So, you know, yeah, so traveling a lot as well. It's been a lot in Amsterdam. It has been some time ago that I've been to Amsterdam. We were actually going back this summer, but we're still planning to go there as soon as we can. But yeah, it has a lot of memories for me as well of the times back then. And yeah, traveling as well, I really had a lot of fun with the people I was hanging out with back then, and they're still my friends. So yeah, maybe I can tell something now about organizational psychology. Organizational psychology is has a lot of very interesting subjects also for the future, really. Yeah, when you hear stories about work fields in practice, like there's still a lot of like that organizational psychologists could do. So it's, yeah, every time it's like if it's not like things that should still be adapted, it's always moving forward. And yeah, that's something what I really like with the subjects, like it has like a very practical side, but there's still like a lot to work on in practice in organizations. So yeah, sometimes it feels like, or maybe it's because I'm an organizational psychologist, but it feels like there's like things that actually are so obvious, or people would say, yeah, we should do this or that, but it's still not out there that often. So that's like part of like, I think being an organizational psychologist as well, that you bridge like the link between research and like things that should be like that to practice. And that's what organizational psychologists or consultants do. So yeah, that's what attracted me as well. Like I really with this master, like to like the psychological part or the human part of organizations and big companies or small companies. And even like for example, one subject was power and leadership, but leadership, I mean, comes in different forms. Like it can even be apply like leadership to your own life. So as well as to a big leader of, I don't know, a big organization or company, or in politics, for example. So we also got like speeching and analyzing speeches and leadership styles, very important. And yeah, as well as with a lot of things about efficiency, which is, in my opinion, quite Dutch. Like we like things to be efficient, and productivity, work-life balance, innovation of employees, like creativity, and creativity is like is seen as like one of the most important like facets or parts of intelligence. Like it's something that you want to support in your employee, especially in the future, even more. It's broader than like, or broader like artists are in my eyes, like super intelligent people, but it can also be applied in companies or in the work field. Like the creativity has a lot of, it's like very broad, like also means it's including problem solving skills, for example. So creativity is like a huge thing. Organizational change, I really found out like you have different kind of leaders or people that like to work with different kind of faces in organizations, and I found out I really not like, but that I would fit most with crisis leadership, or so I took downsizing phase as my subject for my master thesis. Yeah, so my master thesis, I actually I was looking through the list. I actually wanted to do something myself. I knew that I wanted to do something about downsizing, and then I took the effects on employees, and then with like buffered by perceived fairness and general trust. So yeah, if you really are curious, then I can of course send you a link to my thesis. I took actually a charge of picking out my own master thesis subject. I wanted to write it in English because I wanted to be international, and yeah, actually that's something I am really proud of. So yeah, picking my own subject and got it like accepted as well, and like really believing in it as well. Yeah, so during my master's actually I got like I contacted like HR people of big companies as well, and I could actually write like an article for a company, and as well as after my studies I got contacted on LinkedIn by a professor that was working with organizational psychology as well, wanted to take some things out of my research for his article. And yeah, so that's actually, I think maybe more people have that. If you're just graduated, like you're really like wow, are you asking me? But yeah, like that kind of self-confidence will like come with more experience, or over the years that you actually realize that you are like an organization psychologist, and people come to you like to ask advice or anything. So yeah, super cool. And yeah, so if you are interested in organizational psychology, what can you actually like become? I think like especially for millennials and around these times, it's not like so obvious. And actually I did like a committee as well, with a career committee, so we were organizing events with people in certain work fields, and so that they could have a talk or present like a talk to students to tell about their experiences and their career, how it developed and stuff. Often it actually doesn't go the way they thought it would go. So, and now even more, I think for millennials, like you should not expect like that if you decide after graduation that it doesn't always go like that you will become this or that. Especially for organizational psychology or psychology, it's like a broad field with a lot of possibilities and opportunities. It's actually so broad that, yeah, you can't say what you can become. Of course, I mean, I had coaching, so I could coach or get like a separate certificate or registration, like for me then in Sweden for it. That's a possibility. I could like be a consultant, but then you need some more experience. So yeah, there are different things that people eventually, or that are cited as like the jobs that you can do in organizational psychology. But of course, and actually in practice with experience and stuff, or with own experience with people that I see around me, like it's not, don't like think that it will be eventually like that. And especially a lot of millennials, like they feel like it's not, yeah, what I feel like sorry for, or like what I think like is negative is when millennials regret of studying a certain subject because eventually they're not doing anything with it. Like I think like more and more in the future you shouldn't see it like that. Like it's I still would never regret, and especially, and also not organizational psychology, because it's like it's so broad, and like already what I told you earlier on, like in my or elementary school, high school, they always yeah, I always like the intellectual field, or you know, like going to university was in my case almost like obvious. Of course I have these other sides as well with being creative and stuff, but I never really regret like taking the chance of like going to university, especially if it was in some way like that easy actually for me. And even if it's not easy for you, like yeah, I think, yeah, you should never regret like having a master's degree or any degree, like especially university studies or psychology is so broad, applicable, and like, yeah, you will take that out forever, like with you. And yeah, who knows, like at the moment I'm not, or actually I'm doing something with psychology more, another field, but like coaching, it's like so applicable to any kind of, whether you're a manager or a coach, or you're helping people or you're volunteering. It's always, I think, helpful. And also the business side, the bigger parts, like even if you want to start something for yourself, like organizational psychology can help you still a lot with it. And I still have it, my degree, so like I could always like start if I want to, like anything specific of those work fields. But for now, yeah, I would still say that I'm still applying a lot of things that I've learned in practice. So a bit more career related, like something that I would do for the future. I'm not a big fan, and I would also not recommend other people to tell too much about plans, not because you don't trust people, but it's just, I wouldn't recommend anyone. Just keep plans to yourself, and because you know what's best for you. And yeah, so yeah, that's also like a career tip as well. So, but I know what I am like as a person and what fit me best, and what fit me best career-wise is like to be more like project-based, have different things during the week that I could do. Yeah, I really like more project-based like things, and that it's varied in what I'm doing. And I have both. Actually, my whole life I always had both sides of being a very business kind of person as well as creative. So especially for the future, I want to combine these things all together that would fit me best. And one of the questions that can maybe ultimate study plus ultimate career tip that you can give. Actually, it's the same tip. Like that's why it's best like also to keep your plans for yourself, because you know yourself best. If you don't know yet, then you will learn eventually. It took me, like that's why I also think like 7 years of study doesn't matter, or just take as much time as you need. I think like you should of course not procrastinate, but yeah, if you're working on committees or on yourself, I think it's part of the development. So you should not be too strict to yourself. Also not be too like, but like I think it almost always goes wrong when people are like too controlling about themselves or even about others. But yeah, just don't be too strict to yourself, like your real talents or things that you almost don't have to do any effort for. So yeah, so stay in that way like true to yourself as well. And that also means that you should not like learn or listen too much to advice of other people, and that's why it's better to keep plans for yourself as well, even if it's well meant. You really know yourself best. So yeah, and people that really believe in you, like they won't they believe in you, so they let you actually do the things that you think are best for you. I think that I forgot like organizational psychology, like when I graduated it was also a lot about the future of work, so flex work and yeah, new ways of working, like, and actually like I've been hearing a lot of things about it in the media about yeah, new ways of working, especially now that people realize a lot of things. It's not like this, like not specific only just about like home working from home, but it's, yeah, it's much broader than that. And actually 5 years ago when I was studying psychology, we were already talking about that, like the future of work and work, how it is going to be like. And yeah, for millennials we're a bit like stuck in between, but I mean we're already doing great. And I think yeah, we are just part of a transition, and especially after Corona, I think you already hear that now a lot in media, that people are really rethinking things concerning work. But if you like multiple studies, I know a lot of people in the Netherlands at least that have been doing a second studies, which can be very hectic. I don't know if you would have time for committees and stuff. Like burnouts are usually like, were some years ago really like a problem almost. So you should like take good consideration if you want that, and yeah, don't like do too much. But I know a lot of people have been doing multiple studies. So I'm back again, like my card was full. So let's see, do I have more? Going through more questions maybe first. Who was your favorite teacher in the school and why? My favorite teacher in school, I think the teacher, she was called Wilhelmine, And she was my favorite teacher, and she supported me very well, like as soon as I turned 6, when we were in 3rd class of the Dutch school, and she really helped me a lot, like with my development, like to get some more challenging and other kind of work that I could do at school. And she handled it very well, I think, and she was also very sweet, and yeah, still remember her like that. And at high school, it's maybe a French teacher, because yeah, it was always a bit like of like weird kind of jokes, like very sarcastic, and subjects that we were talking about, and with the class, was just very fun. Class usually. We're still going to study psychology if I can choose again. Yes, yeah. Especially organizational psychology as this mix, like I had this broad field of psychology for my bachelor, and then I got more and more specialized, so I got also background in some other work fields in psychology, but especially organizational psychology, because it's like the human side of organizations and companies that I very much was interested in and still am, and I think it's still applicable for a lot of things that you can do, even if it's start your own business. So, what concerning coaching, what is your field of interest? Or yeah, so maybe you're studying psychology because, you know, these different coaching theories, or like what's it called? But I was very much into positive psychology and positive coaching, and yeah, I still apply it even in my own life. I am really like that as a person. And I really believe, like, if you just have to, or just the best way of mentoring people, or like, it's like to approach life as according to positive psychology. So you go out from, or you take the positive things and you build upon that. So you find someone's talents, you find your own talents, and you don't focus like on what somebody can't, because like we're all human, like we have our own specific talents, but we also have things that we are not good at. But yeah, we should focus on the talents that we have. And another like study tip or career tip is, actually it should be very personalized. I'm very much a coach or a psychologist now, but like there is not a certain tip. So the best thing is to get to know yourself best, and so that you can personalize your own development, or what you should work on and what not. And also be a bit stubborn. Just believe in what you want, and the other thing is also balance. So good like work-life balance, or good study and life balance. Work hard, but also know that you're going to play hard or even harder. So yeah. Also, don't forget like to take rest and to like not treat yourself, but what's the other thing? How can you say it? How can you say it another way? So yeah, I always have been doing that, and yeah, works best. So, you know, you create this buffer to another day's work super hard. So what if my work is not fulfilling? I actually don't like it, or feels like it's useless for society. Like, not, of course, sometimes people are not like in a position that they could choose what they, at the moment, what they should work for, or like how they should work. But I think if you want to feel more useful, like maybe try some volunteering, like even if it's an hour during a week or something. Like yeah, you actually, it works like both ways. Like people sometimes think it's selfish because you only want to do something good to look good or for yourself, but I don't see it like that. I think like you with volunteering, you're already doing like yeah, your purpose or your intention is to do something good for someone outside of your work. And so that could be like a good opportunity, maybe some volunteering. So yeah, it's quite a cliche thing that people are saying, but maybe because it's quite true actually. But just do what you like and it will help a lot. Like even if it's on a temporary base, and even if it's not a possibility, just like know that like maybe a good work-life balance would work well for you if the work. So and then my battery went off, but I'm finalizing soon, I promise. So yeah, there was this question. It was a very good question, very honest one as well. Thank you for sending in. I think it will help a lot of people. But yeah, so continuing with the question, like I actually don't like the work or feels like it's useless for society. So when you feel it's like useless, you can, outside of work, even if it's like just like an hour of your time just to do volunteering or something extra, like in that way you can balance it with your work life, for example. Also and if you really don't like your actual job or the one that you're doing at the moment, like maybe just take it temporarily if you really cannot do anything else, and try to find out what would make you happy. And otherwise just have a good work-life balance, and you keep it really separate from each other. Just like you go to work and then, you know, have your life outside of that very much. So hopefully that will work for you. And if other people have tips for the person, just let me know, or for the people that have been asking me this kind of questions or the same kind of question. So yeah, actually this was my video, and maybe, you know, it will be a returning one, especially about career, because yeah, I'm not like at this time I cannot tell you too much about it, so that will come later on. I will tell you much more about career and experiences and also other things, so that will come later on anyway. Maybe if something pops up, or if I get DMs or questions more about student time or studying and organizational psychology, maybe we'll make a new video, but I think this video is like super long already. So I hope it was fun as well as it was useful in a way, and let me know anything. You can email or send DM on Instagram or anything. Love to talk to you. Otherwise, comment down below. Can be anything, opinion, question. Love to hear from you. So see you next vlog or extra video. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.